really started spending.
Back again with another episode of Nina Talks. I'm Akita.
Darius.
How you doing, dude?
I am doing great. You know, still falling down off the wedding train.
Yeah.
So just living post 2 weeks of marriage life.
Just living your best black love life. Hashtag black love
and shit. You know, cleaning up, been cooking and shit.
Yeah, my man Darius is out here cooking expensive meats.
Got some Aldi lamb type shit, bro.
Nigga said, I'm cooking lamb. I was like, damn, that's some like ancient Greek
Gotta feed
type
the family.
Shit.
Take it literally, bro.
He really felt that hunter-gatherer energy. He was like, I have to go acquire provisions.
Look, man, primal type shit.
Yeah, bro, that's what's up, though.
I've been good, dude. What about you?
I've been good, man. Just working,
you
know, getting these projects done. It's gonna be a busy fall for your boy, but y'all gonna hear a lot from me. So
all the mixing, bro.
Bruh.
All the mixing.
All I've been doing
Keep
these
me up
last,
and
like,
at
2
it right
weeks,
before
bro.
work. It'd be like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Like, all right, time to start my day.
How
You just
that
hear the
mix
rolling chair. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
Someone's like, all right, let's start our day. Then. Let's
like,
go.
oh, we up. But that's what we've been on. Staying busy.
That's hard, man.
Yeah.
I feel that shit. That leads, that makes me think of our first topic with all these tech companies staying busy and scamming.
Yeah, for our nerd out today, we talking about really just how tech is like shaping the economy, the job market, and just how people live their lives and how these scam ass tech companies not trying to hold up for it.
Man, and it's so crazy. So the point of the focus was a podcast I listened to, and then also an article that Akita read later, where DoorDash, what is it, like Uber Eats,
DoorDash, Uber,
all these kind of like
Lyft.
logistical apps that essentially kind of pay people a little bit to go pick up and drop off food. They're really like becoming core parts of the economy.
Yeah,
which is crazy. I mean, everybody like there's so many people that's just like, oh, I'm about to go, do Uber, about to go do Lyft because like I need some money. Or like I just need some money type shit.
Yeah, it's a quick bag.
And so it's just kind of crazy. It's just kind of crazy because these companies they kind of skirt around a lot of the like employee labor laws.
Because everyone's a contractor.
Everyone's a contractor. So the article that Akita was reading, and sent me earlier today.
Yeah, basically it was just talking about how like right now California is trying to make a push to kind of make the California government is trying to make some of these companies legitimize all of their workforce. Like they're like, y'all have all these drivers working 8 to 10 hours a week every single day, and for a lot of them it is their primary source of income, and y'all don't give them any health insurance, y'all don't give them no type of benefits, like y'all probably don't even pay a minimum wage half the time. So they're making a push with this bill to basically just be like, you gotta treat them like full-time employees. Mm-hmm. And then in like the fucking douchiest like rebuttal to that, a bunch of these tech companies were like, nah, we gonna huddle up together and all donate like $50 million to lobby against this. And so I was like, wait, instead of taking your money and paying people like the fucking government asked, y'all took that money and then instead were like, nah, we just gonna fight this bill because fuck that.
Yeah.
Like
it's so interesting because all right, these companies are like great ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I just got some food from DoorDash, so like take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, right? Because I do consume it. Like, I'm more of an analyzer, not really like a protester.
Right. Like, oh, that sucks, man. Like
damn, that's crazy.
I don't want to walk to get my food type shit. Yeah. But they're so cool. Like Facebook, all these huge companies that's revolutionized the way that people interact.
Yeah.
But what's so detrimental about them is they also, one, touch everyone, are controlled by probably like a handful of people, and then just get like a shit ton of money. Like, who would have known that DoorDash, like, well, I guess the economists knew, but like DoorDash just doesn't work. Like, it's crazy. Like, the restaurants hate that shit, bro. Like, restaurants like, we don't be getting paid. Drivers like, yeah, we don't really be getting paid. People like, yeah, our food be getting ate. Like, everything. Like, it's so convenient and it's so dope and it's alive because it gets VC money, but like it shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, damn, I would fight somebody if someone just ate my DoorDash food.
Like you just get that shit and just
some
have a few
demonic
like
shit.
fries missing, bro.
Like, yo, where my other taco at, bro? I don't know. You only ordered 2. Sorry.
You only ordered 2.
Leave a good tip. Like, damn, that'd be nah. I agree though. I feel like these companies just aren't putting the effort that they need to make sure that people who are putting their like day-to-day livelihood on this are getting like covered. They're kind of just like, nah, y'all are here to make the engine run and impress our investors, but y'all aren't like people.
Yeah.
I think that's like the interesting thing about like Uber, how they were pushing so hard for like the autonomous cars, because like Uber has been very
they quickly want to drop
they're
people.
like, we don't care about people. Like we don't want this to be a people run business. We're trying to just get cars moving like one way or the other.
We're a logistics app, and ideally we want to automate.
Right. And so with these other ones, it's like, all right, well, you got someone delivering pizza all day. Like, you gonna help them if they bust a flat, or you know, if they get overworked or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you just not gonna treat them like they working for you because they're making your product money.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the testaments to why a lot of small businesses also stay small, because it's like, yeah, that's a good idea, but that shit just don't scale.
Yeah.
And we're witnessing that. And I think the podcast I was listening to made a really interesting argument as to a lot of the pains that we're seeing in America. Yes, we have international things going on, but also we just have a lot of companies that aren't really paying people, and then also people that are just like relying on businesses that like don't work and also don't really cater to their employees that much. But it's become such like a flexible, easy way to make money. Like Uber even ran ads on that one. Like Uber like ran ads on like, oh, you could make a new alternative lifestyle, but we're just not gonna pay you what you need. Like we're just not gonna pay you.
Like, yeah, you can make a living.
Kinda.
You ever work 80 hours a week before? Like,
you know how many people live in their car?
It's so
It's
nice.
a lifestyle.
Get you a Nissan Sentra. Ooh, you're gonna be so comfy and cozy. Like,
They're gonna open up Uber RV, bro.
Uber RV.
People just always gonna be on
everyone
shift, bro.
just live in a van.
It's like Airbnb and Uber Meet.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think that like with most things, I think the right answer is kind of somewhere in the middle, because like I think a lot of these companies are kind of like struggling to like keep up financially, because it's like a weird business model that doesn't really scale, right? So I think the answer is somewhere in between, like, all right, yeah, you kind of have to either just like pay people more and limit the hours, or like something like that, because it's like you can't have people who can just work an unlimited amount of time on this thing, because they will. And like, if
like
that's
not working for you,
and then be like, well, no, I didn't tell him he had to do that, he chose to. And it's like, well, he could. If you can do something for money, chances are someone's going to do it a lot. Like,
I think that's that crazy kind of play where you put an incentive out and then you say, oh, you didn't have to do it.
Yeah, I didn't make them.
But I'm like, no. If you kind of, especially as a programmer myself, like if you're building something for the average person, you have to just think about it in terms of like, what can people do and what can't people do? Not what should people do and what shouldn't people do. Like if you're building something like...
It's a 1 or a 0.
Because it can be. It doesn't have to be ambiguous. You could just stop people from doing that shit. Or you could just pay people who work full time. Like,
change the number, bro. Just go in the code and be like, oh, that's a pay equal 10. Make that pay equal 15, bro. Sorry, we tripping.
Or be like, oh, you don't work 3 hours today? I'm sorry. We just can't afford part-time workers. Well,
because
it's gonna suck, but then they're gonna have to go get a job that actually will.
Yeah. And I feel like, this might be a slight tangent, but I feel like that pulls into so much of the I feel like conversation within America of like the responsibilities of like business versus the government and shit like that. Because it's like, I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, well, like, why can't the government be like supplying like a base, whatever to these people, so then that way the tech companies could do this and da-da-da-da. Which is also like an interesting other like route to go with it. But I agree that I think that like if you're gonna create something, you have to take the responsibility to do it, because you're also going to be pissed whenever the government tries to tell you like, oh, here's what you should do.
And you created the business model.
You made it. It
Like
didn't exist.
you're solely influencing the economy. Like your business that has spread is the thing that's causing this turmoil. And so it's not like somebody else dropped this on you.
No one forced you.
You made this.
Yeah, and I think that's like one of the biggest differences too between like, we were talking about this a bit earlier, just like with like Ubers versus like taxis. Like Uber ran taxi businesses to the ground.
People laughed at taxis
because like shit, like I don't know what I'll have you doing right now to like take a taxi, just because like I can just call in Uber anywhere I'm at anytime with like so much ease. Mm-hmm. You got a taxi. Black, they always drive by me. It's always sad. But
it's like the taxis can't really like, the business model don't really like support them up and building the app and shit.
Yeah,
like,
and also just the buy-in to like have a taxi. It's not easy to just be a taxi driver. Like it's a pretty expensive like license to get, and like you have to jump through
But you're following the rules to make sure that it works.
Yeah, and that keeps it working at a small scale, right? Yeah. It keeps it working at a level where it's like, hey, we have this business, we meet the needs of our target audience, but it's not so much so that we're like fucking ruining the whatever ecosystem we're in. Whereas with Uber, it's like, if you have a car,
phone about to start driving and picking people up, fucking insurance, bro.
And it's like I don't need to have insurance. You don't really need to know how good of a driver I am, like how like the
what drugs I got in the car.
Like I just be doing whatever the fuck.
I'm trying to get 5 stars, man. Whatever y'all need, just.
Like Ubers don't care because they be farting in their shit. I be like, man, y'all way too comfortable in here.
Because they spend their 8 hours.
Because they don't pay me enough not to fart in this motherfucking car.
And that's what that's like the liability that people get though. Is like you end up with people who working hard, because people just gonna work hard. Like I think it's a myth to think that people not gonna work hard. No. People work hard in whatever opportunity you give them to, like whatever capacity they get. And so people gonna be like working on their Uber shit hard, but you ain't paying them shit. Then like unfortunate shit always gonna happen, because that's what happened when you drive all day.
You driving all day. Bro. Can you imagine
random people getting in your car, you driving all day? That's just asking for hours.
Like I pray for Ubers in St. Louis, because niggas out here can't fucking drive. So I can't imagine how dangerous it is to be in a whip all day,
bro.
In these wild west St. Louis streets,
got damn near T-boned and side swipe, bro. Man,
every morning I see someone do some stupid shit, and I just know I'm like, sooner or later it's gonna be me. Like just numerically, like the odds, one day it's just gonna be me. It's not gonna be my fault.
Every time somebody run a stop sign and you like 4 seconds away from that stop sign,
that's just rolling the dice.
Where you just know, where you like, damn, bro, like 6 or 7 seconds earlier, if that had happened, later, if that had happened, I could have been in that shit. They could have just ran that shit.
Because, bruh, people be booming through stop signs, booming through red lights.
Hot box, bro. Can't even see the front of the road, bro. But car be fogged up, bro.
Honestly, I feel like you gotta be. I've seen people like murk through like traffic lights in like stop signs in like the Central West End. I'm like, bruh, it's a populated area, bruh.
Like near misses type shit, bro. Like, ooh, you crazy.
I'm like, y'all niggas is ruthless. Jesus Christ.
I'm about to get a bumper car, bro.
Oh, God. I need to develop some shit with a force field, bro. Keep all y'all niggas 10 feet away from my whip, bro. But nah, that's facts, though. Because it's like, again, you driving in these wild west St. Louis streets. You an Uber driver. You might not have insurance, you might not have whatever, but you driving because you like, this is the way I can make some bread and I need money. I need a job. You can't even
tell your insurance, because your insurance rate gonna cut all the profit that you would have made on Uber, bro. Like
insurance gonna spike up, especially if you're a black male, age 25 is over for you. That premium gonna suck.
I'm just praying, bro. I'm praying for 25, bro. I'm praying.
Bro, your options just so limited. And it's just like, bro, like this company that's giving you, I guess, like the opportunity, right, to make this money, which is cool, should also be like, well, you're gonna work for us full time, essentially. So here's some help. Here's an Uber insurance plan or some shit. I don't fucking know. I don't got all the answers.
But like Uber don't have the money for it because it's not profitable.
Exactly. So it's just like
they're doing what the best they can and they acting like they can, but then they throw $90 million to not pay their people. It's like, okay, sir. You could have just like did some PR stunt and gave like 10 random people $5 million. Like,
Right.
make people stop complaining. Like you know, I will lobby against these motherfuckers.
I'ma just hate.
I would just hate.
Just hate. Goddamn shit.
I hope they figure that shit out, because I still believe that tech is like how people and humans will get the shit right. But we also getting shit wrong with it.
I think humans just not right yet.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get our shit good, and then the tech will reflect that, because it's only what we make it. So
we crazy niggas.
As long as white men are making technology, there's gonna be some flaws. So we gotta get up in there.
Really gotta shoot for that like diverse table, man. That diverse like group of like developing minds.
Yeah, that's what does it.
As the world gets there, man.
One day.
All right.
Trying to roll up to this. Roll into.
I'm about to say,
this,
we're gonna get on
up.
some funny shit. Yeah, we've been talking about tech and shit,
some
nerdy
heavy,
shit,
nerdy, utopian shit.
We're gonna switch that shit up.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about comedy. Just
different types of humor.
Yeah,
comedy.
We've been watching a lot of funny shit. I feel like a lot of comics been on the TL. You know, because it's just all like, they always be saying wild shit.
Good and bad.
You know, for better or worse. Like, there's a lot of like controversial comedy out. There's a lot of like really funny comedy stuff out. Like, so we just want to talk about that.
Yeah, so, the ringleader, I guess, the one that really drove the conversation into
wanted to do this
comedy was Dave Chapelle.
Yeah, the last stand up. There's a lot of chatter about it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. For me, I thought it was funny. I'll say that straight up. I fuck with Dave. I watched the Chappelle show since it like first came out and shit like that. So like, I thought it was funny. I thought like, you know, there's definitely things he shouldn't have said. Obviously, I think like some of the points he was making were valid, not all of them. But I think one of my biggest thoughts about this conversation too is also just like, I feel like oftentimes with like entertainment in general, we often take like the things people say like way too seriously, in the sense that like, he's a stand-up comic, he's saying some like wild shit. If you know it's wrong, you know it's wrong. You know, don't fuck with it. But I feel like people be trying to take this stance of like, either like, you know, he's encouraging people or anything like that. Cause I'm like, bro, them people already had them problems. Dave Chapelle ain't radicalizing niggas. You know what I mean? Like, it's niggas that's radicalizing people.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, whatever. So I think it's like, how do we have that conversation of like, okay, like this shouldn't be said. And then also just acknowledging that like, all right, this is just like what one person kind of chose to do with their platform. And like, either you consume it or you don't. Yeah. Cause like, it's the internet age. There's a million opinions on everything. And like, you know, I mean, he said it in the stand-up, like, if you watching this and you're literally sitting here offended by my jokes, you're choosing to be in this space. I didn't shove it down your throat. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's just what I feel. I feel like there's a lot of like this kind of like faux anger when it's like, you didn't even watch the shit. So like, why are you so mad?
Yeah. I think it's definitely, there's that point of you clicked on it and watched it. You're like consuming it. And also there's the big point of, I think Dave, in saying like all the shit that he said, comes from a place of, all right, I can say this stuff because I'm not experiencing it. And so that in itself is an L. Like that's evidently the fucked up part. But I think he also each time like acknowledges that. And so it's that weird paradox of like, all right, like if you know it's fucked up, you shouldn't be saying it, but you also know it's fucked up. And then
but
he's not the perpetrator. Like it's not. He's not. And it's also like, all right, you're not. Hopefully, I don't know Dave Chapelle whole life, but like you're not hopefully like a perpetrator, like an aggressor, somebody actively like inflicting harm on people. And so I don't think it's something to like torch the dude for. Like that's just something that if you don't want to hear him say that shit, if you know that he's gonna kind of be like that kind of like aggressive comedian that's gonna say the things that shouldn't be said, even though he probably doesn't really like identify with many of the things that he said, the retribution is to not listen, to not watch him. Yeah. I don't think that he's somebody that's actively preaching or pushing any type of like propaganda. Everything he says is very heavily satirical.
Right.
And so it's
there's so much context
like,
around
yes,
everything.
it's inappropriate to say it, but it's also like, it's not a misrepresentation ever.
Yeah.
He's never like slyly trying to like alter your viewpoint or type shit. He's always like, yeah, it's fucked up that I said that shit. I did say it, but it's fucked up.
Right.
And so like people can like get up in arms and say that like, okay, but then maybe my kid wants to grow up to be like Dave Chappelle. But like, no, maybe you shouldn't teach your kid to grow up to be like Dave Chappelle. Like Dave Chappelle actively says like, I shouldn't have said this, but I say this. Okay, that first part is saying that like, that's not the right thing to do. So your kid is actively choosing not to do the right thing. And you can't just like raise a child up through ignorance. Like, if he don't know that people do all these different things and still make his decision to do the right thing, that's on him.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle just a nigga making funny jokes.
A nigga making jokes. But I also think that, it does also call into, like, I think an interesting part of the conversation for me is also like, with the internet, right? Like, what is a joke? Like, what? Because, I think a lot of jokes stem in like darker things. I think that's just kind of like a fact of like, not all comedy. There's definitely like normal, lighthearted comedy, but I think a lot of like funny ass shit tends to stem from like darker things. Like, for example, like if you're black, you've probably made a slave joke and it was probably hilarious, right? And like, maybe you said some shit sarcastic, maybe you said whatever, but you were fucking around. And with the internet, it's like, you might tweet some shit joking, and just because it's an opinion out there in the ether with no context, there's like a million reactions that someone can have to that. And so I think one thing that I think we should just think about with like the internet and like comedy and like what's funny is also just thinking about like, I don't even know how to phrase the question I'm trying to make. I think just in general is something we should be thinking about, is like, how do we interact with like humor now in an area where like everyone's sense of humor is for display?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, yes, there are things that are like definitely wrong, but then it's a gray line because like slavery was a terrible thing, right? Yeah. And it's like, should I be able to crack jokes on that just because I'm black? I mean, I think so, yes, because they're hilarious. But like, someone else may not feel that way. Like, there are black people that don't like to say nigga because they don't believe in like reclamation and all that shit. And like,
they're like, you didn't go through that, so what you talking about?
Yeah, and it's like, that's not an invalid viewpoint.
Yeah. And
I think a lot of times with like Twitter, or like Twitter specifically, because that's what I be on, there's this like kind of like faux, this is right, this is wrong. Like, if you think this, you're canceled. Because like, that's what cancel culture is. It's not really like about like ruining someone's career, like, because unless you're doing something awful, your career probably isn't getting ruined. It's more just like, you're not what's right in black or right in woke or whatever, you know what I mean? And like,
I don't fit the mold that we set you to.
Yeah, and I don't think that's always necessarily right. I think, it has a pretty good success rate, not gonna lie. But like, I don't think it's always right. I think with anything, there are things and like nuances and conversations that the right viewpoint doesn't always hit. Like, because maybe it was framed in a weird way, or like maybe some other part of the delivery was off, but it's like, if you distill the core of whatever was being said, like, it's probably right. It might just be different from what you think.
Yeah. I think the tragic part about comedy too is like, I think something that really pulls the joke out is when there's some type of like resonance or like shared kind of like understanding. And I think one thing that people hate about kind of like dark comedy is like, since there is some type of like resonance, like somebody says something fucked up and then people laugh, so it was a resonance. Like, oh, all these people that just laughed, is like, they think that shit. They like, at least they're not the perfect person that like I'd love to like assume that like all these people in the room are like. And I think realistically, like you should kind of judge people by like what they like do. Like, yes, people can say really fucked up things, and people can also be verbally abusive. But like, if someone's not being abused, I guess definitely coming in from like some position of like
black dudes
masculinity right now, like, yeah, there's definitely the hard part is when the dark humor, like, people don't want to kind of like accept the fact that, oh, we resonate or there's a resonance with kind of like the shit that he said.
Yeah.
Like, humor can come in like so many different ways. There can be like good humor. There can just be humor from like a good shared experience
or whatever.
They're always, I feel like it's always kind of like, oh, as a comedian, like I don't know you, but I'm standing up in a room full of people and I'm able to like say like a series of phrases, sentences, either like maybe using my own experiences, maybe using the experiences of somebody else. But I can literally like stand up here for 45 minutes and make like chunks of you guys like laugh and chuckle throughout this. Like no one's gonna laugh at the same thing throughout the whole event, but that's kind of what comedy is. It's like, you know, you want to kind of like hide away from like the dark humor, because like, yes, there's like cartoons and shit, there's a whole bunch of different types of humor, but dark humor is also there. Like it's fucking there. Like people are gonna like, I think people are always gonna be fucked up. You gotta stop trying to like have a world full of perfect people. You gotta set the world up so people can't be fucked up to each other. Yeah.
And just creating, I think also just one big thing for me, I don't know how related this is, but I feel like one thing that we've done a bad job doing is, as like a culture, is just like creating an environment where it's okay to acknowledge your biases. Because I think that's like the only way to like get over them and like work towards them, is to be like, hey, I think this about certain people. Like,
grew up that way. I'm sorry. Like, I don't
it's more my experience.
Work on it. Like, of course, obviously.
And yeah, I don't think we really like let people do that in like any capacity. Like whether you're a regular fucking person or you're like super mega famous, there's no space where like, unless it's like, you know, to your like closest confidant friend, to be like, you know, I really don't like black people. Like,
but I think the best part is like the world just got the internet. So like realistically, like people just met each other like damn near like 30 years ago.
Yeah, still in this baby phase.
Hopefully a few generations and that people have kind of like gotten acclimated. Like, damn, all y'all niggas crazy. Like, all right, I guess they all crazy. Like, cool. Let's all be crazy together.
Literally.
We hopped all off the comedy train.
Yeah, let's bring it back. Let's talk about
Black Girl Sketch Show.
Yeah, because that shit is hilarious. On like a very probably like opposite energy from like the prior conversation.
Yeah.
It's just like really good, like really good sketch comedy. I haven't watched like a really funny sketch comedy show in like a long time.
A nice universe they threw in. The cast does a great job of kind of keeping things together. Like,
yeah, the recurring characters, like the Hertep be killing me, bruh. That shit is hilarious. They got this one character that's called, like, you got the Hotep, right? It's like all these niggas. And it's like the Hertep is like preaching like the kind of like female equivalent of like a lot of just like the wild things that like Hotep be saying. Like, man. It killed me when she said, tell your husband you wasn't cheating, you was fertilizing. I was like, bruh, y'all are hilarious.
She said, no, we didn't get married because our relationship exists on a different dimension. Dude over there was like, oh, so you single on this dimension?
Nah, they hilarious. I also love like the cameos. Like they have like really good, just little like surprise characters.
Patti LaBelle with
the Patti LaBelle. I was like, bro, who thought of that, bro? Like,
or the simple use of like CGI. They have the CIA agent that has the evil twin like villain.
Was that CGI or was that just another girl that kind of looked like her? I thought that was just another person that looked like her.
I gotta go watch again.
Yeah, I think that was just like another.
I thought it was camera tricks, but that's cool.
It could have been. I don't know.
Because they got really close. And I never thought that they were different people, but I could have just been kind of high. So like,
I think they were different people. I gotta go back and check. But nah, that was one of my favorites because I haven't really watched anything like sketch comedy since like old Key and Peele.
Yeah, I watched Key and Peele and like Lord of Squad.
I was like Chappelle's show, Key and Peele. I watched, you know what show I thought was funny was Tosh.0. Tosh.0 was hella funny.
I hated Tosh.0. I watched a few scattered episodes.
I used to watch a lot of that. That shit was hella funny. And like, I felt bad for him because they like ripped off his show so bad with ridiculousness. I was like, wow, y'all just made a worse Tosh.0 and
just cleaned it up a bit.
Just cleaned it up.
Yeah, because that's what he went down for though. Like,
Daniel Tosh used to talk a lot of shit, talking about comedians that talk a lot of shit.
Yeah, that's what he went down for, man.
He used to talk a lot of shit.
Being a fucking asshole. Another thing I watched, this cartoon is Tuca and Birdie.
That's the one with I don't know how I'm blanking on her name right now.
Tiffany Haddish. And I think who's the other? Who's Birdie? But that shit's also like really fucking dope because I love the fact that they got like a whole animated series. Like I know that shit's hard to do.
Yeah.
And so like the business moves that they've been fucking making, and like I think it's really cool because it's like extremely feminine facing.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of shit that they're talking about through just like conversations, but like still never shit that I kind of like empathize with.
Yeah.
But it's really funny to laugh at it.
Yeah, I agree. Nah, Tiffany Haddish hella funny. I saw her live maybe like a year ago.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, she's like, man, she had a set that was like, the way she did it, I was like, I don't know.
Ali Wong.
Oh God, I love.
I was
Ali
about
Wong,
to say,
bro. Ali Wong is
like,
so motherfucking funny, bro.
Yeah,
saw
she's
her
so
live
fucking
too,
funny.
bro.
That's tough.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of her stand up. She's hilarious.
she's hella funny. I saw Tiffany Haddish live, and she just had a set that was like really made it like unsure whether or not she was like really just freestyling this shit or like this was a prepared set. And like I knew it had to be because that's how you perform.
Yeah.
But like the delivery was
fact
just
that
so
it
like
was-
easy that I was like, oh fuck, like maybe she did just have a couple shots of Hennessy and walk on stage and start talking shit. Like I don't know, like
In the bag.
I'm fooled, bro.
That's dope. Yeah,
man.
they Tiffany Haddish is great. I love watching Girls Trip. Girls Trip was hilarious. Like the state of comedy, despite all the kind of like drama.
I think the
that it
moral of
brings
our
around.
story is just that, you know, black women tend to do things really well in a way that's usually non-controversial. Whereas like niggas, we do shit and it's funny, but there's always a kink in there somewhere.
we do step in really quickly.
There's always just not quite there.
It's like I could not do it, but then I could. It's like I don't mean nothing by it, but I could.
Be hella funny.
What did Shia LaBeouf say?
Do it. What we need to do is go to this guest segment though.
Yeah,
because
let's go
we
to
got a
this.
bomb ass guest.
Roll up real quick.
Yes, sir. We're gonna smoke a little J and then come back with our guest.
Get high with the balloons.
Yeah, man. Get some helium. Come back with the boy Sean Alexander. Yes, sir.
Peace. All right, hey, and we're back.
Back again.
Welcome to Nina Talks. Got our guest blinged out on the wrist. I already see it.
That's the new rollie, bro.
Man, first of all,
Man, we're happy to have you. Introducing Sean Alexander. You know, give a
what's good?
give a
Aussie
quick
Nina
intro.
Talks, welcome.
Right?
Little artist, little designer, little this, little that. You know, we here though.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you do a lot of things, man. We got the paintings up. I mean, these are prints, but they come from paintings.
Yeah,
And then,
they do.
you know,
Got a beautiful painting downstairs.
Yeah, we got.
Oh, you know, high key got to see it. So we had sunflowers at the wedding,
Right.
And you know, we got the lemonade piece from you. So his piece of this like black lady with an afro and just yellow balloons around
Right.
it. Got the sunflowers next to the piece.
That's
Shit just
hard.
Fire,
a lot
bro.
of yellow energy.
Shit fire. Yeah,
That's
I gotta
hard.
tell
I
you.
remember when you bought that shit. I couldn't believe it. I thought my website was broke. Like
Damn it,
I had
Squarespace.
just dropped my website like 2 days before,
I was like, well, this
and
time-
I'll never forget. Like
I wanted
was,
that wall one, but I was like, ooh, I ain't got it. Like you had like it was balloons, like multicolored rainbow that go
Yeah,
across.
yeah.
I ain't got that.
I ended up
like that.
redoing that, but yeah, yeah. I'm glad you didn't buy it because I hated how it looked.
Nah, I was like, that's
I don't
so
even know
hard.
why I was up there. It was terrible. But yeah, I never forget. I was sitting at work. Like my phone went off. I thought it was just text messages. I looked. It said, "Oh, you just had a purchase for blah blah blah." So I seen the price, and I was like, "They bought hella shit." Like, so I just knew.
You thought it was a bunch of Prince and
Yeah,
stuff,
I just
huh?
knew it was a bunch of T-shirts and like
Uh-huh.
just merch. So when I seen it, like it was a painting, I was like, "What?" Like, so I think I emailed you like right after.
Yeah,
like,
we like linked up by like Bishop.
Because I was scared. I'm like, bro, he had to have did that shit on accident. Like I couldn't, like I couldn't believe it. I was like, bro, that's crazy.
We had like just decided we was gonna start trying to like get into art and stuff.
Yeah.
So you dropped that shit. And I was like, okay, all right. Well, this might be the first attempt. Like, here we go. Got it for summer. That
That motherfucker was not cheap either. So like, that's why I was shocked because I was like, they bought that one. I was like, oh, cool. But y'all taught me a good lesson though, man. Like, cause I be so scared about prices and all of that.
If somebody want to buy something, they want to buy some shit. You buy shoes.
You know what I
buy
mean?
whatever you want.
I mean? I
Two
feel like
pairs of shoes. I got big
like,
feet. It's 2 pairs of shoes. I just can't buy shoes for a bit.
That's what I'm saying. That's how I look at it too. So like, when I get a lot of backlash, and especially in the city, like it's like you said price and people like, what?
Yeah. You know what Ho said?
I be like, bro, you got on a Supreme bag. And
Ho said, set your price and live your life.
You just gotta take your time and know what you get. Like you can't get too much random shit.
Sure.
You get too much random shit, you ain't got no money. But I do want to know, like, you know, how did you get like started in the art and stuff? You know, I kind of want to know what your trajectory into throwing events and making.
You want like the real answer, or you want me to lie to you?
Hey, bro, no, look.
Nina talks.
Whatever you're trying to look. You know we real. Whatever you're trying to put on camera.
It started like.
Hey, as long as the fans don't care, say whatever you trying to put on camera.
Yeah, so I mean, it started back in like 2011. But I want to say like fresh out of high school. I was just like dabbling in shit in art and trying to really find what I wanted to do. Like I knew I didn't want to like career job, so to speak. So I was like, all right. So I wanted to do music. That was like my first passion, my first love. Something that throughout my entire life, you couldn't tell me I wouldn't be doing anything else other than that. Like that's exactly what it was going to be. I thought I was gonna be Lil Bow Wow for sure. Like I was committed. Like I was committed to that. So, but I mean, obviously, you grow, you live, and you learn. You see, like, this kind of not shaking how I want it to be shaking. Like
you just shift,
right? So it was like I gotta find something else. So me doing art started as a different approach to get people to pay attention to the music.
Okay,
I'm like, I do the art. Like I can do the art, and then like. Kind of like
catch their eye in it.
Work the music into like the artwork. It never really happened like that though. Like I did it. It was just like something I tried out for like a very short moment. Like I tried it out. I might have did like my first like 2 pieces I ever painted. Then I probably didn't touch anything again for like a year and a half. Excuse me. I would do. That's how it would happen. It would be like 2 pieces at a time, and I probably wouldn't touch it. In like 2014, like end of 2014, I had really got into it. Like, there's always a girl involved. There's always a girl. I'm not even gonna sit. I'm not even gonna like. I'm not even gonna sit here and act.
I was cooling until she came through.
Yeah, like I didn't care. So when I started painting, like I didn't care about painting that much. But she seemed to be really interested in the fact that I painted.
She wanted you to paint her on the
so I was
like a French girl.
She was waiting.
So I was like,
paint me some balloons.
So girls like this because at a point I didn't know. Like around 2015, I had just went to my first vibes. Like I had just like experienced like a lot of my first art things in the city to where I even knew it was a crowd for that or like people who were into that.
Yeah,
like I didn't know. Like so it was like I just kind of from there once I seen like I'm like she's interested in the fact that like I paint. Like I guess it just sounds cool. It probably just sounds cool. Like it just sounds cool.
Imagine you in the room just flicking paint everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? Like so like from there I started doing it on a regular basis. Like to where like I started to get good at it. Like I was always able to draw and shit like that. Like but I never really took the painting serious. And like I was living with my pops. I was like in the basement getting paint all over this card table that he had because like that was the only where I could only place I can paint in the crib. Yeah. Like I didn't really have no easel or nothing at the time because I wasn't really worried about that. I'm just going to Walmart buying some canvas, some paint, just kind of playing around. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, and then I didn't realize I was really good at it until I like I think I went to my first Vibes, which was like Vibes 3. That was one. That was like I think that's when Vibes realized like, oh shit, we got something.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you couldn't get in that bitch. Like it was like wall to wall, like dumb packed. Like they had to like stop letting people in. Even when they stopped letting people in, it was like rap. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, so I walked into that and I was like, a kid in a can. I'm like, what? Like all of these people, like
here for art.
They here for art and shit. Like art. I think Smee was in that vibes.
Yeah,
and that's crazy to see because like.
He's going on.
I'm just a little hating ass rap nigga at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so he got on stage and then the girl I was with, she was like, oh, Smee. She was really excited to see that nigga. And I was like, looking like, bro, like, why you so excited to see this
Arthur
nigga?
like hell, bro.
But no, that's crazy to see because I remember those like emotions, being in that room, like, and just to see how far he's came since then. It's like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
But like he started performing, I was like, damn. This nigga's really good. Like, I was like, damn, this nigga really good. So it went from like me hating to like me, like the next day I'm on SoundCloud trying to find everything he's ever made. Like, so it was, but like vibes and the art scene like put me onto that. So once I seen that, my first goal was like, oh, I gotta be on that lineup. Like it was just a passion just ran through me. Like it's like you gotta make that lineup. Like,
so you painting now, but you just attended that vibe. You didn't like you.
I was painting, like I was actively doing art, but it was kind of like just for myself at that point. Like I wasn't really actively promoting myself as an artist, so to speak. So it was like I was still considering myself a rapper at that time.
Had you found your kind of theme?
No.
Okay, cool. All right, just getting the timeline straight.
No, like I hadn't even really known. Like I think at that time I was just painting. I was really into like female anatomy, like
seen like a bunch of your like kind of
ass.
experimental, you just got a whole bunch where
like,
they just
so
like
it's
next
like,
to paint globs and stuff.
Yeah, so it's just like the shit just. I was just really painting majority like women based paintings at that time, which was fine. Like the shit was fire to me at that time. Like so, and they kind of is. So after that, I went to that show. It was like I like my whole goal was to start doing that shit every day.
Okay,
I'm like, I'm gonna paint every day. I'm gonna post artwork every day until like one of these niggas that do this show noticed me. I think me and Rail followed each other at the time, or I followed him, one of the two, and I knew he was over the show. So I'm like, I'm gonna constantly keep doing this shit until like niggas start paying attention, whatever. And like I would constantly like tag. If you the shit's still there, you can go on my Instagram and like look. Like there's pieces where I would tag, like I would hashtag, like I gotta get my name on that flyer. Like that was like my thing for like a whole, like it didn't last long.
People like, what flyer? What are you trying to get this name on? Put this name on the damn flyer.
It didn't last long because really at that time in Instagram, it was only like 10 people liking my post. Like it was like 10 people, 10 random people, maybe somebody I went to school with, an ex, one of my homies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really have no following at that time. So it's like, but the more I posted, like the more traction I would get.
Yeah.
The more people started kind of like painting. It was like, wait, Sean paint? Like I thought he rapped. Like, so it was like, I got a lot of good responses from that. Like just seeing me venture out from what I was doing, because like I was really heavy into the music. To people that knew me anyway. I ain't gonna say it like I was like out here running around, but like to the people that knew me, they knew when they seen me, they seen like the question that they would ask, like, oh, you still rap? You still do this? You still do that? And it's like, so to see me transition from that, like I wasn't really posting no music, like I was just like posting like artwork.
They really looking.
People had questions, like they was like, what, when you start doing this? You've been doing this the whole time? So it's like, I seen the reactions I got, and I kind of fell in love with that. That's what made me keep going, because it was like, all right, this is getting people to pay attention to other than like what shoes I got on, or like, you know what I'm saying, or like something else like that.
Something I'm producing type.
Yeah, like something that's outside of me. Like, so it's just like
content.
That's where it stuck for me. And it kind of just grew from there. Like I can vividly remember like the first time like Rail commented on one of my paintings, and I was like, yeah, there it is.
There it is.
I was like, there it is. Like, and it's like I remember that feeling, because at this time I don't know Rail from shit. Like I don't know anybody that I'm now friends with. I didn't know any of them. So it was like, these are seeing an event like this. Y'all famous to me at this point. So like, it's like
I'm doing some big shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all famous to me at this point. So seeing that, it was just like milestones. Now I don't care if Rail like my shit. That's my brother. Like that's what, like.
But you at least like, you're like, I'm trying to get in the vibes. Let me work hard real quick. Like post out every day.
So it's, that's really where it stemmed from, and that's what kept me going. And then I remember like I had got up to like 20 pieces, and my dad asked me, he was just like, what are you doing? Like, why you just painting all this shit every day? Like, he was like, what are you doing? Like, cause it was to a point where it was out of hand. Like,
it's just everywhere.
Cause I was in the room that I was staying in. Like, it was just paintings lined up against the wall. He was like, are you like doing something with this, or you just, he was like, I remember telling him, I was like, I don't know, I just feel like it's something coming and I'm gonna need them, so like I'm gonna keep doing it. And then like a month later, like Rail called me like, yeah, we need you to do this show called we doing a show, like it's not Vibes, but it's a show called Mania. And like you go look at that flyer, you can find that flyer somewhere. I'm sure that lineup is insane.
Got your name on that flyer.
Like it's insane. So like I'm geeked. I'm like, yo, like finally, whatever. Like, and that show turned out great. Like I sold pieces. Like I met a lot of different people. Like people that I'm still like really good friends with these days was in that. That was a terrible sentence.
It's cool, man. Time just keep running.
Like shit. But for people I am really good friends with to this day. This day is what I was trying to say. These days, that shit sounds terrible. But were on that lineup with me. Yeah. And it's wild to look at that. So it's like it just evolved from there. It didn't get to a point of like really finding. At that point, I didn't have no style. In my opinion, I did Vibes that same year. Yeah. So in my opinion, like my growth, I seen growth, but I feel like I bombed my first Vibes appearance. I felt like my first Vibes appearance was terrible. Like I've been saying that since the day. Like I've like, and everybody be like, man, nah, your shit was nah, bro, my shit was pretty terrible. Like, cause I had worked so hard for this moment, and then I got it. So I like I don't know if I was trying too hard or wasn't trying hard enough. Yeah, I think I was in my head more than anything else. So like looking at that wall and it's just like, damn, that shit's pretty bad.
I don't feel like I'm in love. Yeah.
And I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied with the fact that like that for my first appearance on a show of that scale, like
I should have did better than this.
I didn't feel like I did good enough.
Even if nobody else say that,
because everybody else would tell me I'm bugging.
That's
like,
so real, yeah.
They would tell me like, "No, you tripping? Like that shit was good. That shit was good." And I was like, "No, I don't think so." So luckily for me, I got a chance to do it that next year. Again, like by the grace of whoever, because like from what I know of Vibes, like you get really pretty much you do it once. At least that's how it is now. If you did it last year, they don't really be trying to let you in like the next year.
Got more coming.
Like if you do it like 2-3 years later, cool. But like I know like back to back like that, it didn't really happen.
So you have
like often. So like I got the opportunity to do it again.
Switched it up.
Oh, and nigga, I fucking snapped. Like when I say I snapped, like I went crazy that year.
That's
like,
hard.
And that's when I started to find, like you asked me earlier, like how I found my style. That kind of brings it all around. Yeah. That next time I did Vibes 4 is when like the first balloon pieces came about. When like my thick dark lines that y'all see back here, like that's when all of that shit started like coming to fruition, and I was kind of really getting in my bag with it. But it wouldn't have happened like that had the first Vibes not happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I wouldn't have felt the need had I went crazy.
You were so critical. I'm here, but like, what the hell?
Had I not bombed the first one, I probably wouldn't even have. Had I felt like I went crazy the first time, I probably wouldn't have felt no need to, try to get better or like work towards finding a style that I can call my own. Cause like I felt like that's what I was missing more than anything else at that point. Which is like, all right, I can keep doing this, but it's 12 other niggas around me in this room that's doing this same thing. So it's like, how do I continue to do the things that I like doing like this shit with women or the balloons or whatever, but how do I do that but still make it something unique to where it's like, if you see my shit, you know that's my shit.
Yeah, that's facts.
And I feel like I did a really good job at that so far.
Agree.
So far, I mean, I feel like I still got a ways to go. Like I ain't cracked the service. I feel
like it's never ending too. You just always going.
I ain't made it past the city yet. So it's like that's my next thing. I want to. Everything I've been able to establish here is time to, take it elsewhere. Take it on road.
What would you say was if you had to kind of distill that first kind of like arc of your artistic journey from like I want to be a rapper to now I'm hustling to get my art recognized to all right, I got the art recognized, I got my style. What would you say kind of in that journey was one of the most important things you learned?
Not being so attached to things.
Elaborate.
It's funny that I'm saying that now, like, and that's one of the first things I told myself. Like I work with I've been doing kind of creative direction for an artist that y'all might know, KV.
Yes, sir. She was fire.
KV the writer, I say it right before she cursed me out. Like she'll definitely curse me out. But
KV the writer, yup.
The Ratchet tapes is out. I'll give her that plug too. That's my dog.
Fire.
But I've been working with her, and it's like throughout this whole, just the process of her creating and like me creating with her, something that I've told her a lot is like, just stop being so attached to things. Like, let some things go. Like, and when I say that, what I mean is, I'll kind of put it into like a personal story of mine, like just that transition that you was talking about from rap to, or music to the art. It's like, at some point I had to let the music part of it go completely before I was able to fully like propel as an artist. Cause like trying to juggle two different things, it gets hard. Two, it confuses like
less productive.
Your consumer. Like it confuses the consumer. Like
what
they
are you
don't
doing?
know what you're doing. Like you drop a song today, you do art today. Now I'm at the perfect spot to where I feel like I can afford to do both at this time because I've already established
build one up.
But I've established one enough to where it feels like, okay, like if I did want to dabble back in this, I could now.
Yeah.
But starting out, I feel like that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Having to let that part of me go.
Yeah, dude.
Like, cause it was like I was so attached to it. I had been doing it since 3rd grade. Like, so it was like 3rd grade through 12th grade. It's a lot of fucking years. Like, there's a lot of attachment to those things that especially
when you're younger too. Like,
yeah,
the more time you spend on something when you're younger, you hook to that.
Like,
that's
that
your life.
memory.
That's your life.
I still can't function without it though.
Yeah.
So it's like, music is still a part of my day to day. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's writing music or whether it's like listening to it, like, it's still a part of my day to day, and it's still an avid part in what I do. I can't paint without listening to music.
Yeah.
Can't paint in silence. That shit's trash. Sounds cool, but like,
yeah, I feel that.
Like, the shit's pretty trash. Like, so it's just like, yeah, man. I feel like that was, to answer your question, that was the biggest thing.
That's what's up.
That's what I had. That was a struggle then and shit even now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie, because like I find myself getting frustrated about music, especially since working with KV more. Like, I'm finding myself wanting to like
create
get
more
back
music.
into
create again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like let me just write a song and like give it to it. But the people I'm around now that they're doing music, that's not really my role.
Yeah.
So it's like now I have to work to get them to trust me on that end of it too. So like now it's like the process has like really restarted.
Yeah.
And that shit's frustrating. And that shit is frustrating because it's like, you know how good you are, like in certain aspects of everything. Like, I have a track record of being good at everything I do. Like, I can prove it to you.
Need to talk.
I don't even, you know what I'm saying? But I don't talk like that. I don't walk around like that. But like, I can prove it to you. Like,
I got my resume. I'm
like,
good.
I tried to do this, and I mean, you see how this turned out.
Yeah.
Like, you can, that should be enough for you to trust me in doing this, but it don't work like that. You have to like prove yourself in every aspect of whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's always it's a humbling thing every time.
Yo.
You got to stay humble.
Damn, I did all this work, and I still have to prove myself to another level of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at first it was like people in the city. First it was like Real and like the Vibes Committee. Like, I want to prove myself to them to let them know I'm good enough to be in the show. Then I got to prove myself to myself when I chose to do Capacity, my own show.
Right.
So it's like, I have to show myself that you're good enough to do this on your own. Like, and it's just like, it's always going to be like a next step of proving yourself to someone. Even when you felt like you've hit somewhere that you've never hit before.
There's always someone like,
it's always something else. It's always somebody like, I don't care. Like, there's people in my life right now that like, I'll talk to them about like goals I have or shit that I want to do. And they'll look at me like, I don't care.
So,
like, what's next? Like, how are you going to make me? Like, my homegirl Ashley has been asking me. Ashley Nicole, I don't know if y'all know her. She does branding and marketing and stuff like that. So I've been talking to her a lot more. And throughout this whole, like, after all that I've done, I say this repeatedly because this is how I feel every time we talk. Like, after all that I've done, like, she's like, okay, cool. So what's next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, yeah, you did that, but like,
it's done. It did.
Happened.
Like, why does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, why do people continue to care? Like, they've cared this far, but how do we get them to continue to care? And this is all shit, like, surprisingly enough, I hadn't even thought about it. I'm like, they're gonna care because it's me, but it's not even that simple. So it's like
it's always the thing that you're doing.
Yeah,
like the things that you've done are great.
What have you done? What have you done for me lately?
But it's always what you're doing right now.
Like, what have you done for me lately? Yeah, Capacity was cool, but that was a month ago. So you got another drop for us? Like you got more clothes? You got like what are we doing? Like yeah, Capacity was fire. It was great. But that was a month ago.
Let's go with them hats.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like that hat was fire, but it's sold out, so I can't buy it now. So
what you get me?
What you got for me? And that shit is frustrating as well. Like being an artist, being an entrepreneur or whatever you want to call it. Like I hate to put titles on it. It still makes me feel weird to call myself.
But you making art. You gotta make money.
A brand, an artist.
You gotta support yourself. You're doing
like
your
all
thing.
of these things. Like all these titles, like make my fucking skin crawl. Like I don't know what it is, but I know it is those things. But it's all in. Fuck! I lost my train of thought. That was gonna be good too. It was gonna be great. But nah, that was gonna be phenomenal, and I completely forgot. But like, moral of the story is there's always a point.
Bring it on.
Yeah, proving yourself.
Yeah,
to yourself, to other people. Keep going. Like, stop being so attached to every little thing that you do, because there's always gonna be somebody that don't care, and you're gonna have to show that person something different. Or you're gonna have to realize, like, maybe this person isn't like my target.
Yeah. My demo.
Like, so,
just keep moving to somebody.
So it's just like, all right, let's go another way. But it's hard, man.
You gotta let that shit go.
Being an artist and shit is hard. Like that shit is terrible.
Like, God damn it.
Like a balloon.
That was terrible.
Spell.
That was a dad joke. That was a dad joke. He's married now, so he can make
right. Good God.
It's a dad joke. Like that shit is funny.
Yeah, let's get an album of the week. Let's do that. I got to end it off with a dad joke, man. Brought the balloons home.
That's funny
God
as hell.
Damn. Nina talks. You wanna?
Yeah, I'll start off. So, I was listening to the Spilled Milk EP by Boss recently.
That's a good one.
Boy, my dude went hard. He started off with like fried rice, I'm pretty sure. The first song. Jollof rice, right?
St. Louis ass said fried rice, bro.
It is a song called Fried Rice, though.
It's the second song, huh?
Okay.
Because that's a song with that's a song with JID.
I like it's only 4 songs, but I really
hey, hold on, pause. You know what's wild? I just looked at something. Every episode I've watched, y'all have had on like my shit, right? Every episode is had this. I had a t-shirt, but this one, y'all have on everything.
Because you gonna have on all your shit. We gotta let you shine.
No, I'm saying it as a compliment. Like, I really appreciate that.
Hell yeah, bro. Now, like you said,
I would have came in here and been like, oh,
you
man.
work hard, man.
Now this is so weird now. Now they look like mascots. We in here looking like twins.
We're brothers. We
that
happy.
shit is funny.
Jollof rice, fried rice, and amnesia. Those 3 songs.
The 2 rice tracks.
Fire. They got Nirvana in the middle. That song tough too, but 1, 2, and 4 is hard. Like, Bob's always dropping like cold tapes, dog. Like, he's such a great addition to Dreamville.
He's one of the early ones, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he been on there for a minute.
I fuck with Boss heavy.
He been on there a minute.
Heavy.
Yeah.
That whole Too Hot to Riot album.
Anthem.
Yeah, it's went crazy.
That shit is phenomenal.
For mine, I'm gonna do Finding My Next Thrill by Cousin Stiz.
That was hard.
I haven't listened to that yet.
It's hard. Stiz from Boston, and he kind of like, I feel like his first 2 tapes were like more lyrical rap, closer to like boom bap, traditional hip hop. But with these last couple projects, he's been like trying to find like his kind of like modern trap.
I'm about to say, is he like a rappy rap ass nigga? Like, cause the only reason I asked that, because the song I just heard with Smino like didn't sound like
exactly.
That.
And so like with this most recent project, he's kind of like, and the one before it, but I think in this one he did like a way better job of like finding his lane outside of like lyrical kind of like come up struggle raps. Like, he found how to like throw his voice and do like those kind of fun things. Like, even the fact that he on a song with Smee, and like Smee always doing them, you know, vocal acrobatics, and like he kind of doing his own style of it. Like, he got his own sound that I think he's like really got comfortable in on this project. So I really fuck with it. It took me like the first listen, I was like, I don't know if I like this, and then the second listen, I was like, oh no, this is hard. So that's my album of the week.
I have to give it a play. I only heard the song with Smee. That's the only one I like.
It's a hard tape.
Tuned into.
It's a hard tape to run through, man. He always puts together good projects though. Like his projects always like listen through really dope.
That's hard. I've been listening to can't be the writer of the Ratchet tapes right now. But but no, like outside of that.
Oh no.
Outside of that, St. John. Are y'all familiar with St. John?
He did just drop
John
something,
album hard, bro.
Yeah.
St. John don't need to talk. Hard.
St. John is like my guy.
What was the name
Since
of that
Collection 1. Collection 1 was hard.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get into it, like, cause I listened to it once, like by myself without knowing who he was, like just seeing it. And then I think I started to see him a lot more, cause that's how I kind of listen to music. I listen to music like based on like I gotta put the person with the music.
Yeah.
And then I seen him and like he was like articulating well and like
he's hella smart.
he's able to
like
he's
really
able to talk
talented.
and navigate through the interview. And you can just tell like if you just know how to have a conversation, like it's just like it's like a lost art damn near.
Yeah, too many, bro.
Because niggas be weird and like secluded for no
man.
reason. I'm like that too, because I'm like to myself. But if I need to talk, I can talk.
Yeah.
Like I can articulate and I can like tell you like emotions or like whatever the fuck I need to articulate to you, I can do it.
Yeah.
A lot of these niggas can't do
that.
that.
I hate watching like beat breakdown videos or like song videos. Not even that one. It's like they not telling me shit. They like, yeah, bro, we was in the stew and you know that shit was hard, and so I put the hi-hat on that bitch so it could ride.
So it can ride. It's funny,
I threw the snare on that joint. You know, you gotta have a. I'm like, you're not telling me about the song. I know you put a hi-hat on
the experience or anything.
Like, what the fuck was happening? Like, tell me more. Like, is that it? Like,
no, that shit is funny because like some of my friends will see this and they'll say, "What?" Like he don't articulate shit because like Alex Don is one of my good homies, like one of my good homies. And like
Alex
every time I work with him, like he does this thing to where he puts his business hat on. And he starts talking to me using all these big words, all these like fundamentally correct terms for everything. And I just be like, bro, just talk to me regular. Like Jesus Christ, like I don't want to hear all of this shit. Like I know you. Like and they talk about me for that every time because they're like, man, Sean don't never want to have a
professional conversation.
I'll be like, no, like not with my homies. I don't, bro. Like Jesus Christ, but like that. That's that's like a lost art. But that's what got me into St. John though.
Collection 1, huh?
Because he can do that. Collection 1 is really, really fucking good.
Okay.
And then his new album, what is it called? Ghetto Leanie's Love Songs.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to run that one. Yeah, we're gonna do that one.
Yeah, because he's definitely on like a new wave, like kind of
like
rock star.
Yeah, it's like
R&B,
singy rap shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like The Weeknd was like, not vocally, but just like his image. Like if The Weeknd was more like rock star-ish.
It was more rugged, like
rugged and like
that shit is fire,
don't give a
man.
fuck and wasn't all sad and
Yeah,
druggy.
I did like Collection.
But it's not even like weird content though.
Nah.
Because you would expect it to be just looking at him.
Not no coke music.
Nah, it's not. It's like
You would expect. That's what you would expect.
Yeah.
You would expect like I can see people doing coke to St. John. I'm not gonna lie, but
Dude, the coke to anything.
But the music isn't.
You're like, oh, Beethoven.
Run that as long as the chord, bro. Right?
that's
Slap
funny as hell.
Half line for a half note.
But that shit is you don't need. That's what you expect it to be though, and it's not even that. Like you got like some regular content like that, like regular niggas can't relate to. Like it ain't even all. It ain't even all tripped out like you would expect it to be. Like it's just really solid. It's a solid record for sure.
That's hard.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for coming through, man. It's
my boys, appreciate it.
Been a blessing and an honor, man.
I was about to start boycotting you for real. Like, I was like, damn, they ain't called my phone.
Had a great time.
I definitely appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming through. Thank y'all for watching. You know, like and subscribe. Show us that love. Help us build the audience. You know, that good old YouTube shit we got to do for the video episodes.
BrillantMnds.com.
Patreon.
Yes, man.
If y'all care. Brilliant
y'all
Minds.
trying to cop some clothes, some paintings, any of that.
Brilliant Minds with no eyes.
You know?
That's literally the only difference. People be so confused. It's just Brilliant Minds with no eyes. Like, that's all it is. BR.
Website too?
LLANTMNDS.com.
There
No
it is.
eye also?
No eyes.
No eyes.
Okay.
Anything.
Cause you can't see nobody. None of y'all haters.
Hey, that's fire. I'm starting to use that. I'm using that for now on.
Nina talks, nigga.
They're gonna be like, hey, why you ain't got no eyes in your web? Because I can't see y'all niggas, bro. Like, that's why. Oh, that's fire. That's fire. That's why. Where the little thing at?
Nina talks. Cut it. Thank y'all for watching.